Let's continue with a simple example for the space calculations we just talked about. For example, based on the following dimensions, aisle width, pallet size, width of upright, clearance size, heights, back-to-back, warehouse height, storage area length, and storage area width, if we use the formulas we discussed, we can calculate first module width, length, and height, and then the number of modules, and at the end, the total pallet capacity, which here is 9,072. So therefore, in a cubic space of 120 meters by 48 by 10 meters, we have a capacity to store 9,772 pallets, based on an overall pallet dimension of 1.2 by 1 by 1.35 meters, and utilizing a reach truck working within an aisle width of 3 meters. The number of pallets that can be stored in this particular area is determined mainly by the area width, type of racking, and the size of the pallet. As we said, this is just a basic calculation, and there are some other factors that need to be taken into consideration before using those figures. The calculations taken into account the aisles between the racking, but do not take into account aisles and gangways at the front of the racking. They also do not take into account potential pallet overhang, walkways, or fire exits. Here are some other factors that need to be considered. Pallet utilization within the warehouse. It is known that once storage utilization exceeds 85%, productivity and safety decline. The operations will slow as put away is delayed, while space is freed up. The presence and locations of roof columns. Storage equipment manufacturers will take this into account when producing the plans. The requirement for space between the backs of pallets and at the sides of pallets. The presence and locations of sprinklers, either ceilings or in the rack. The overhead pipes and sprinklers will limit the height both within the warehouse and within the racking itself. The type of lighting utilized and any heating or cooling systems installed. Lift height of the forklift truck. Different types of forklifts will have different lift height capabilities. Also, pallet orientation, either short or long facing. How a pallet is stored within the racking has its own trade-off within the warehouse. Storing a pallet with the long face parallel to the aisle makes it easier for operators to pick, not having to stretch too far across pallets. However, storing the pallet within the short side parallel to the aisle means greater flexibility and more pallets can be stored in lengths of racking. The requirements for cross aisles within the racking to reduce travel and the need for walkways between the end of the racking and the wall to provide escape routes for the staff or fire exits. And lastly, the type of racking, for instance, double deep racking, will reduce the number of aisles required, while narrow aisle storage requires less aisle width.